Hey everybody, Joe here, and you're watching 360 Comics. Earlier this week, I purchased a small collection of 4 short boxes from an employee at my local comic shop who was looking to downsize their personal collection. There were a lot of interesting pieces in there, and I pulled out the best to show you today. Right now, we are 25 subscribers away from our goal of 1,500, at which point we'll be giving away this Hulk 377, first appearance of Professor Hulk. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. When you do so, that gives you 1 entry. Definitely go check out the rest of our videos from the month of March, because all of those videos are included in this giveaway, so you like them and comment them and get additional entries for each. Don't forget to follow on Instagram and whatnot. And tonight on Mint Hunter Comics YouTube channel, we're going live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a claim sale. Myself, James from Mint Hunter, as well as Nick from Dynamite Comics. It's going to be a good time. Don't miss out. On Wednesday this week, even before I had the chance of going to my LCS to pick up my new comics for the week, I got a message from them asking if I was coming in and letting me know that there was a collection there that the store was passing on that they were going to allow me to purchase, which is really great. You know, obviously I wouldn't want to undermine their business and purchase a collection out from under them, but if they're going to be passing on something, it's really great that they reached out to me and allowed me to get second dibs on it. It's really good to have these relationships and be able to kind of get first dibs on things that they get in, as well as possibly picking up some things that they're going to pass on, like this collection. Apparently one of the employees was downsizing their personal collection because their partner was moving in and had to make some room. So I went in and kind of asked how much they wanted for it, and they said $70. I said, it's modern stuff. Can we go down to 60? And I paid $60 for 4 short boxes. So that's $15, a box, which comes out to between 10 and 15 cents a comic, which is a pretty good price. Now, a lot of it was filler, but the nice thing about it was there were a lot of runs of things. And I'm actually really happy with what I got. There were some keys in there as well. We'll go over the best of the best in this video today. First up, we've got all 10 issues of Tales from the Dark Multiverse from DC Comics. Now, I've heard this run described as DC's version of What If, and it focuses on specific events. So right here, we've got the Death of Superman issue, and then we've got one for Batman Hush. And these are all kind of like alternate stories, whether they're completely different or alternate endings or, something like that. Infinite Crisis we got here. They're nice, thick, square-bound books, which I guess flesh out the entire story in just one book. We got Judas Contract, which is, Nightwing's first appearance. Blackest Night, which is one of the most critically acclaimed runs of the 2000s. Flashpoint, of course, definitely a big one. Crisis on Infinite Earths, probably the crossover, not crossover really, but the major event in DC that really kicked off all their events and things and really helped with their continuity. Then we got Dark Knight's Death Metal, and I believe this one's last, War of the Gods. Oh no, there's one more here. Nightfall from Batman. So yeah, as you can see, complete. These are, pretty sought after. People like to collect these. In fact, I know someone who's been asking about these recently. I'm definitely going to hit him up and see if he wants first dibs. Then next, we've got this JSA All-Stars run. And I really, really like the pop art on these. I think they are, look really cool. Just a very different style of comic book covers. And this next one is the one you really want. Issue number 4. This is the first appearance of the Star-Spangled Kid as Stargirl. She changes her name, and if you're a big follower of DC, there is a Stargirl television show featuring this character, and this is where she started using that name as opposed to Star-Spangled Kid, I believe, from the the golden age. I'm not big on DC. These are just things that I know from talking to people who are fans of DC. Shout out to Jim from Bronzeville Comics, because he's definitely a big fan of the Stargirl television show, and we've spoken about it before. So a little bit of knowledge from him. As you can see, yeah, these are all just really cool pop art. It's the complete set, 1 through 12. I'm not going to show all of them and waste your time there, but we saw this one in the beginning. This is Deceased #1. This is basically DC's version of Marvel Zombies. So you know, the two publishers, it's not always DC copying off of Marvel. It's both ways around, and you can see there's a lot of influence from each other. But anyway, awesome cover, love it. It's this like decaying Batman zombie, and issue #2 also has a similar cover but with Superman. And I really like these covers. These are the variant covers. I believe they were just cover Bs that were utilized as, you know, a great way. I think they're Matina covers. I believe Matina did the art for these. But not only was there issue #1 and 2, there was the complete set, which is it's a 6-issue miniseries. These are all cover A's, though. Not sure why, but the person who originally bought these comics bought some of the regular covers and some of the variant covers. That's okay. People like to mix and match. I think it's pretty cool to just pick out whatever cover you want. But yeah, cover B's on the first 2 and cover A's on issues 3 through 6. And not only was there the original run, there was the Unkillables run as well. And this run was the same story condensed into 3 issues, but instead of being told from the hero's perspective, it's told from the villains of the DC Universe perspective, which is pretty cool. And then there was this one-shot, Deceased, A Good Day to Die, that was in there too. So it's got this like nice chunk of Deceased books, and I'm sure I will have no problem getting rid of those as a bundle. Same with this next run here. We've got the Invisibles, more kind of pop art covers here. This is a Grant Morrison run from DC Vertigo from the 1990s, and this was a complete run of all 25 issues. They were all together, all nicely bagged and boarded as well. Definitely happy to have this. This is one that I might hold on to and read until, you know, see if I really like it. If I do, I'll keep it, and if not, you know, easy something to pass on to another collector. The really nice thing about it is, you know, I kind of looked up the price of what this complete set goes for, and it sells for about $60 online, maybe even a little bit more sometimes, and that's what I paid for this entire collection. So if I decide to sell this off, you know, I'm kind of making my money back just off of that one sale. So that'll be a pretty nice one if I decide to sell it. I'm not sure yet. Then we got Batman #21, and this is a lenticular cover, which, you know, shows 2 images depending on how you hold it. And we've got Batman and Flash holding the button from Watchmen with the blood splatter on it, the comedian's button. And this is just a really cool thing. I really like how Rebirth, which is this DC Universe run, how they utilized it to add the Watchmen to the you know, the regular DC continuity, because, you know, I'm a big fan of Watchmen. I think that's really cool how they did that. I have not read much DC Rebirth stuff, but I can imagine that it's pretty good, and maybe I'll check it out. Definitely really like this cover, though, especially the Batman way to hold it. Next up, we got Green Arrow #1 from the 2001 run. This is, you know, just a reboot of Green Arrow, and the reason I put it in there is because, 1, it's got this great cover, and 2, it's by Kevin Smith, and you know, a lot of people hate his writing. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan when it comes to films. You know, comic stuff, I can kind of take it or leave it, but really big Kevin Smith fan. And the View Askewverse, or whatever it's called, his whole universe in the films. But yeah, really cool little Kevin Smith #1 there. Then we got a minor key here, Justice League 59 from a couple years ago. This is the first appearance of a new Justice League, and I thought it also just has a really great cover depicting all the characters but with their faces in the shadows. Pretty cool way to announce that new team. Then we got Harley Quinn number 25, and this is an homage cover to, one of the greatest ever, Dark Knight, the Dark Knight run by Frank Miller. It's, Harley Quinn. I don't think this book is particularly expensive or anything like that, but unfortunately it does have a sticker on it down there. Really cool homage cover, but Goodwill got a hold of it and stuck a 97-cent sticker on it, which not exactly what you want on the cover of your comic books. This next one, I'm a big fan of punk rock and the Misfits. This book, I've never heard of it. Alan Roberts' Killogy, but it's got our man Doyle von Frankenstein right here of the Misfits, the original bass player of the Misfits, and really cool cover. I don't know much about this. I'm probably going to look into this a little bit more, but I believe this was a one-shot. I thought I saw that somewhere. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I think it's like a horror-based thing because, the Misfits, a horror punk band. This next one, maybe someone could tell me a little bit about this. This is Transformers from the Dreamwave run. It's listed as a preview. I think this might have been what was sent to retailers in order to get them to order the actual run. I might be wrong about that. I did very brief research online, and that seems like what it is, but maybe you could tell me in the comments below if that is in fact what this is. Those retailer, previews are often cool to pick up because they're a lot more limited than even the number ones, usually. And they can be a cool little collector's item. I believe this is also the same thing, but it's the second run of Transformers, The War Within. It also says preview on it, so I think that it is along the same vibe there. Then we got some very interesting crossover right here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Ghostbusters together in one comic book. That's awesome. Some real 80s nostalgia here. And, I grew up in the 90s, a little bit later, but both of these properties were still very popular at the time. So I definitely am going to read this little crossover. I think this was a one-shot. It's issue number 1. Not sure if it was a one-shot or not. But I looked this one up and was surprised to see it going for $15 online. People really like the crossovers, especially if you're a fan of both. Turtles collectors want to collect this, Ghostbusters collectors want to collect this, and the people that like both, well, they're going to go twice as hard on this book. Then we got an interesting one. I mentioned some punk rock before with the Misfits. We've got Punk Rock Jesus number 1. I know nothing about this. I remember this coming out. I remember seeing it on the shelves, but not something I ever picked up. Really cool cover though, with this this punk vibe here. Not really sure what to think about this, but maybe I'll check it out. We'll see. We'll see if this is something that I look into eventually. Now, there was a lot of Future State stuff. This probably being the best of the Future State books. This is Future State Wonder Woman number 1. First full appearance of Yara Flor as Wonder Woman. She's on the cover in the main title. It's a number 1. This is definitely a book that you want to grab if you're speculating on this character at all. And there was a bunch of this run actually. And a bunch of the Future State books in general, including this one right here. We've got Future State Teen Titans number 1, the first appearance of Red X in DC continuity. Red X is a character who, like I said, has Harley Quinn syndrome. I always say that when a character first appears in a television show and then makes their way to comics. Red X is one of those characters. This is the Win variant cover. In my opinion, it is much better than the cover A, and I believe it's worth a little bit more as well. And not only that, but there was an issue number 2, also the Win variant cover, which depicts Red X right here on the cover, and I believe that would be his first cover appearance. If I'm wrong about that, I might be. Couldn't find it online anywhere what the first cover appearance is, but I believe it's this book. Don't quote me on that. nonetheless, really cool character. Was pretty excited that they utilized him in this Future State run, and hopefully we'll be seeing more in the future as well. Keeping with the Future State, actually this isn't Future State, this is from Infinite Frontier, but this is Swamp Thing, number 1 of the Swamp Thing limited series, and this is the first appearance of the new Swamp Man. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th Swamp Thing, I forget, but yeah, just a new Swamp Thing, and I forget the character's name off the top of my head. I apologize about that, but this run became pretty popular, and I heard it was a really good read. I did not pick it up myself, but I might eventually do so since I have this copy now. Now back to Future State. I guess this one just kind of ended up in the wrong spot here, but we got Superman House of L from Future State. This is the first appearance of a bunch of characters, including 2 grandchildren, I believe 2, of Superman. One who becomes the Superman of Earth, and one who becomes a Green Lantern, I believe. Forget exactly. I'm not super well read on DC, and I touched almost none of these Future State books. Really it was just Teen Titans and Batman that I read, because that's more my thing. Not a big Superman fan, but this book could definitely have some potential. There's multiple first appearances, including the 2 that I mentioned. As they go into the future, Jonathan Kent has been aged up, is the Superman of Earth at this point. Well, eventually those kids are probably going to show up again if they continue that run. We'll have to wait and see. Then we got Immortal Wonder Woman, number 1 from Future State. And this cover by one of my favorite variant artists, Peach Momoko, looks awesome. I'm not big on Wonder Woman, so this is probably not one that I'll keep, but I know that there are Peach Momoko fans out there that like to collect all of her covers, and this is certainly one of the better looking ones. In fact, even being not a Wonder Woman fan, I'm still very tempted to keep this. Now, she mostly does work for Marvel. I haven't seen many of her DC variant covers. In fact, I'm not sure if she's put out a DC cover in the last year or so, but nonetheless, looks great. There was also the second book of this run, which I believe is some kind of minor first appearance. This, again, is a variant cover, not by Peach Momoko, someone else, I forget, but this was on Key Collector, so I pulled it out for you guys to check out. Then we got, like I mentioned before, some Batman, and I had this book already. This is the first appearance of Tim Fox as the new Batman. Definitely an awesome cover. Love to see it. And this is the next Batman, by the way, because this is not Bruce Wayne or anyone else that has taken up the mantle of Batman. We got Lucius Fox's son, Tim, taking on the mantle. And, this run's interesting because I feel I started reading it and I feel like it doesn't know where it's going. It almost seems like they switched writers a bunch. I'm not sure if they did, but it's a little all over the place. I definitely like the character and think they could do some really cool things with the Tim Fox Batman, but I'm not sure how much I really like this run. But nonetheless, a key issue, definitely good to have in the collection there. Then we get some Aquaman. Now, this is the first appearance of the daughter of Aquaman, whose name is Andy, I believe. Her first appearance as an adolescent. She's shown as a baby in a previous book, but they aged her up. Obviously, this is Future State, so this is in the future. So they didn't really age her up, but going into the future, she's obviously older. She's preteen, teenager, something like that, and it's got a great cover appearance of her and her dad. Speaking of, we got Aquaman number 57 here. This is the first appearance of Andy as a baby. You can see we got a pregnant mom and dad in the background there. On the front, she's born in this issue, her first appearance. This is actually a pretty nice key to have, especially with the Aquaman sequel movie coming out. I don't know if there's any rumors or anything like that Andy's going to show up in the movie or anything like that or whatever, but nonetheless, really cool little key to have, and I think this cover looks awesome. I'm not a big Aquaman fan. This is probably not something that I'll hold on to, but cover's cool nonetheless, and it's a key. Same thing for this next Aquaman book. This was so weird, because this entire collection, if you haven't noticed, it's all modern. In fact, it's all 2000s plus, mostly from the 2010s, in fact. But there was this random Aquaman number 37 from the Silver Age, a 12 center. It's got the sticker on it. I guess, the person I bought this collection from bought it as a 3-pack at some point. I'm not sure. Anyway, Aquaman 37, first appearance of Scavenger. Not a character I'm familiar with at all, but nonetheless a Silver Age minor key, and it holds some value for sure, even in this like mid-grade condition that it's in. Probably a $15 or $20 book, just because of how old it is and the fact that it is a key. Moving on now to Green Lantern. We've got issue number 10, and this is the first appearance of the Sinestro Corps. Not a huge key by any means, just a team first appearance, but a great cover as well. And this run by Jeff Johns, I believe, is very popular. There's a lot of first appearances, a lot of development of characters, and then it leads into Blackest Night. So, I know a lot of people who talk about this run, so it seems to me like it's a pretty popular one. And like I said, there are some keys in there. This is a first appearance. I forget who it is exactly, but this book I found a couple times recently, and just a nice first appearance, as well as a really awesome cover, purple. Yeah, you guys, if you've watched my videos, you know purple's my favorite color, especially for comic book covers. So, this one pops out as really nice to me. Then we got another cover right here. This is the first appearance of the Star Sapphire Corps. Again, just a minor key, a minor team first appearance, but nonetheless, something that Green Lantern fans like to pick up and collect. Then we're on now to the Batman Who Laughs. Really cool character design on this guy. This is the issue 1 of the Batman Who Laughs solo run, and it's also the Greg Capullo variant cover, featuring this kind of like negative space Batman Who Laughs. The whole thing is black. His face is blending in. Really, you only see that visor, that spike visor, as well as the teeth and mouth. Really love this cover. Probably going to keep this one in the personal collection just because of how much I like the cover. I actually used to have a copy of it, but this is one of the things that I sold off probably around the time that I bought my house. Regretfully, sold it off for real cheap, bulk almost, and definitely happy to have another copy of this awesome Greg Capullo cover. This next one, now I'm a big fan of horror movies, and I could find almost nothing online about this cover. This is 28 Days Later, number 1. This is the book that bridges the movies, the first 2 movies, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. It bridges them together. It came out in 2009, and I have looked up this book on various sites, and I could not find this variant cover anywhere. There's a bunch of different covers, red, sometimes with that logo there that they use, looks like the biohazard symbol. I cannot find this cover, so if any of you know anything about this cover, please put it in the comments down below. I'd love to learn more about this, and that's what we're here for, as a community, learning about comics together, the hobby that we're all interested in. So somebody, please give me some information on this comics. This is probably staying in the personal collection. It is a pretty nice copy. It's got a spine ticker too, but nonetheless, I really like the movies, so this will probably stick with me. Then next, we've got a book that I've talked about quite a few times, Batman 106. In my opinion, one of the best covers of all time. I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. The yellow background makes the dark foreground pop. We've got Batman's silhouette, and inside of it, Scarecrow hanging off of a building in Gotham City, the bat signal in the background, all this great stuff. I love this cover. I can't even explain how much I like looking at this. I have a bunch of copies of this book already. And personally, I think the value of this book is going to go up, not just because of the cover, it's also the first cameo appearance of Miracle Molly, and I like that character a lot, as I've mentioned recently. But either way, as a cover grab, I think this book is phenomenal. I'm going to hold on to the copies I have and certainly get some graded, hoping for that 9.8. Now we're down to the 6 hottest books from this collection. None of these are super high value or anything like that, all kind of like in the $20 to $40 range, but nonetheless, I only paid $60 for this whole collection, so I got a great deal here. First up, we've got Die, Die, Die number 14, and I almost just completely overlooked this Kirkman run, forgetting about this issue here, which has some key significance to it, and it is a very, very tiny key significance that people are making a bigger deal over because of who it is. In fact, it's a small cameo appearance, and I'm going to show it to you. In the crowd during a boxing match between Barack Obama and an alien, I believe, there is a really nice splash page that features an entire crowd of onlookers. And one of them just happens to be everyone's favorite little green alien, Grogu. He's, where is he? Right there. Tiny, real small, but nonetheless there. First cameo appearance of Grogu in comics. Not by any means like a major key or anything like that, but this character is popular and will definitely have a future in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to be holding on to this copy for sure because I think it's just a great long-term hold, especially as they come out with more seasons of The Mandalorian and maybe possibly some sort of a spin-off with Grogu as well. Character could definitely have a lot of legs. Yoda's so popular, and given that we really haven't seen much of Yoda's species outside of Yoda and Yaddle, I definitely think this character could be part of the future of Star Wars. Anyway, we got Nightwing number 1 next from the New 52 run, and this book is kind of sought after, but what makes this one special, it's the second printing. It was a lot smaller of a print run, and actually Key Collector lists this as at a high of $40. I really saw it for like kind of $25 online. But nice cover to have. The way you can tell this from the first printing is this cover is all red in the background, where the first printing is not. This is the first appearance of the new Nightwing costume with red instead of blue, and yeah, just a great run. I'm a big Nightwing fan. This one might stay with me. I'm not sure yet. I think I actually own this whole run already, but most of the run was in here, so maybe I'll just keep it together, as a complete or nearly complete run. Then we got Transformers. This is an interesting one. This one I had never seen before. This is the official How to Draw Transformers number 1. This was released by Blackthorn Publishing in the late 1980s and is less of a comic book, despite it being printed like a comic book, and more of an art guide teaching you how to draw these Transformers from the outline to the coloring, all that stuff. This is not something that I will keep in my personal collection. This definitely will be available in claim sales. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. I've never seen this before. Apparently, it was a 4-issue limited series with a bunch of different popular Transformers. I guess probably each book has one Transformer that every page shows you a step to draw. Like I said, I've never seen this before, but a pretty cool random piece that was in this collection, and it has a price tag on it, $225. So yeah, the person who I bought this from got a good deal on it. Next up, we got Batman Urban Legends number 6, and this is a great character development key issue. We have Tim Drake in this book start to question his sexuality. He's invited on a date by a male friend, and he takes him up on it. He says, yeah, I think that's something I would be interested in doing. And, some character development, some representation on a character that's been around for, quite a long time, since the early 1990s. And, we're getting a little bit more character development on him. I believe, truthfully, that, representation is very important in comics. If this is something you don't like, guess what? You have infinite comics out there to purchase that tell stories about this character and other characters that you can relate to. You don't need to harp on other people's lifestyles or other people, the way people are. It's not something that is any of your business. So if you don't like it, just ignore it. Just ignore it. But guess what? I think it's great. think it's great for the comic book community. I think it's great for progression in the world. Then we got Flashpoint number 1. And now he mentioned that the whole run of Flashpoint was in here. I only found issue 1 and either 3 or 5. I forget which other one. This is the one that you'll want. This is the most expensive of the books. First appearance of Thomas Wayne as Batman, as well as, some other interesting characters. I don't want to give away too much if you haven't read this, but really, really cool storyline. One of the most popular ever in DC. In fact, I believe the Flash movie is going to be based off of this book. It at least seems like it is, or at least loosely. But really excited about this. Probably going to keep this one for myself because I don't think I've ever owned this book. And I'll try to look for the rest of the books in the run and complete it. Last but certainly not least, probably the rarest book in the whole collection, as well as the one that I got most excited about finding. We've got Amory Wars in Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, number 1. Now, that was probably a confusing title, so let me explain it to you. There's a band called Coheed and Cambria. They're, kind of a prog rocky kind of band, and they're very in-depth with their music and their writing and everything. In fact, all of their albums are concept albums that have, stories written alongside them, released as graphic novels and comics. And they're a band that I very, very much like and have been listening to since probably middle school. Anyway, the Amory Wars are the main comic arc about that relate to the songs that are on the album, and this one goes with the second album that they released, which was called In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, which is confusing because it ends in 3. They actually started with album number 2. So just like Star Wars starts at episode 4, having come out in 1977, and they did 4, 5, 6, and then went back and did 1, 2, 3, and then did 7, 8, 9. Well, this kind of does the same thing. Coheed and Cambria came out with Second Stage Turbine Blades as their first album, and then In Keeping Secret of Silent Earth 3 as their second album, and went up from there and then went back. And I believe their last album after the whole saga was the first album in the chronological order. Anyway, that being said, this relates to that album, which probably was the album that really got them popular. Second Stage Turbine Blades, I knew about it because I was into some more underground music and stuff like that, but In Keeping Secret of Silent Earth 3 was the album that gave them real mainstream success. And, they can really attribute a lot of their success to A Favorite House Atlantic, which is the first single off of that album. Anyway, enough talk about that. This is a really cool piece. This is the first issue of the run from this album. I don't know too much about these. Despite really liking the band, I have not, and being into comics, I have not read any of these. I definitely have some friends that have been into them, and friends that are super Coheed and Cambria fans, so I'm probably going to talk to them. This is very likely staying in the personal collection. I saw copies on eBay going for like $75, $100. This one's got some serious spine ticks on it, though, so this one's not worth quite that much, but still being a rare and coveted book, it's definitely worth something, and one of those collectibles that crosses boundaries. Not only comic collectors want this, but just fans of Coheed and Cambria will want this. Anyway, that's everything. If you noticed, I got a great deal on $60 here. There was a lot more stuff that's mostly like full runs that I'll sell off. In fact, I'm going to go throw another $20 to the person that I bought this from next time I'm at the comic shop because it was a good deal for $60. So why not throw them another 20, making it 80, which was more than they initially were asking for at $70. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely some cool and interesting pieces that I really didn't expect to find, especially among, mostly comics from the 2000s. Some older ones, some runs, some interesting things like that, the Transformers, How to Draw Transformers book, and of course, this little gem right here that's probably going to stick with me. Anyway, guys, please make sure you like this video. Leave a comment down below. Check us out on other social media. Come to the claim sale tonight on Mint Hunter Comics YouTube channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you there. You don't want to miss out. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.